Imagine it's 1957, it's Saturday morning, and you just drove your brand new V8 coupe off the lot. No national speed limit, cops barely have radar guns. You floor it, and within seconds, the car howls like a jet, pinning you to the seat. Welcome to the 1950s, a time when speed wasn't a crime. It was a generational statement. This was the era when the world's fastest cars didn't hide in secret garages. They sat proudly in suburban driveways, fire-breathing V8s, featherlight bodies, and an engineers bold enough to challenge physics itself. In this video, we'll explore the 12 fastest cars of an entire decade, machines that redefined what street legal could mean and forced the world to look at American roads in awe. And here's the twist. Some of these names, you might have never heard them before. 1957, Chevrolet Corvette Fuelie. This wasn't just an early Corvette, it was a milestone. The 1957 Chevrolet Corvette FY was America's first production car to feature mechanical fuel injection, a technological leap ahead of its time. Under its sleek fiberglass body sat the legendary 283 cubic inches V8, and with the optional ramjet fuel injection system, it delivered 1 horsepower per cubic inch. 283 horsepower, an insane number for 1957. Picture this. A car weighing under 2,600 pounds could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.7 seconds. While most sedans back then struggled to get under 12 seconds, the Corvette Fuelie wasn't just fast, it was a symbol of innovation. It proved that America didn't need to mimic Europe. It could build its own homegrown supercar. Today, surviving Fuelies in original condition are collector treasures with prices climbing into the 6-figure range. 1955 Chrysler C-300. In 1955, if you wanted the fastest car in America, you didn't go for a Corvette or a Thunderbird. You went for the Chrysler C-300, a massive 4,000-pound beast that could outrun nearly anything on the road. This two-door coupe packed a 331 cubic inch Hemi V8, but not just any Hemi. Chrysler borrowed race engineering tricks to create a high-performance version. Hotter camshaft, higher compression, and twin 4-barrel carburetors. The result? 300 horsepower. A number few dared to print on a sales brochure in the 50s, hence the name C-300. On the track, it made immediate noise. The Chrysler C-300 dominated Daytona Speed Week and early NASCAR events. It wasn't a nimble sports car. It was a muscle car in a tuxedo. Chrysler didn't just build a fast car, they launched a legend. The very foundation of their iconic Letterari's performance line, 1956 Jaguar X6. If the Corvette FY defined American speed, then the Jaguar XKSS was Britain's answer, a machine that blended raw performance with elegance wrapped in racing scars. The XKSS was essentially a road-leal version of the Jaguar D-Type, which had conquered Lemon. When Jaguar pulled out of racing in 1956, they decided to convert 25 leftover DTY-PE chassis into street cars, and thus the XKSS was born. It featured a 3.44-liter inline-six, producing around 250 horsepower housed in an ultra-light aluminum body. It could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 5.2 seconds, quicker than almost any American car of the time. But speed wasn't its only story. In 1957, a fire at Jaguar's Browns Lane factory destroyed 9 of the 25 XKSS cars, leaving only 16 survivors. That tragedy instantly turned it into an ultra-rare collector's gem. later immortalized by actor Steve McQueen, who called it the best car I've ever driven. Today, the XKSS isn't just a car. It's a fusion of speed, style, and fate. And in this list, it stands as the European jewel among a sea of American muscle. 1957 Mercedes-Benz 300L Gullwing. Out in an era when most American cars relied on carburetors and heavy steel bodies, the Mercedes-Benz 300SL Gullwing looked like it had come from the future in both design and technology. Though launched in 1954, the final Gwing Coupe in 1957 remained one of the fastest cars on Earth. It featured a 3.0-liter inline-six engine with direct fuel injection, a technology that wouldn't become mainstream until the 1980s. With around 215 horsepower and a lightweight aluminum body, the 300SL could reach a top speed of 161 miles per hour, a mind-blowing number for the 1950s. And then there were the Goldwing doors. Not just stunning, but also a clever solution for the car's high tubular frame. Every time you stepped in, it felt like boarding a spaceship ready to take flight. The 300SL wasn't just fast, it was a statement of precision, innovation, and elegance. A car that showed the world what German engineering was truly capable of. Today, the Gullwing stands as one of the most valuable collector cars on the planet because it wasn't just about speed. It carried the dream of a future we all once imagined. 1954 Oldsmobile Super 88 Rocket Viv 8. Before the term muscle car became legendary, the Oldsmobile Super 88 Rocket had already nailed the formula. Take a big, powerful V8 and drop it into a mid-size body. What you get is a budget-friendly street warrior. In 1954, Oldsmobile upgraded the Super 88 with a Rocket V8 320 cubic inch engine and pushing 185 horsepower, an impressive number for a sedan at the time. But it wasn't just about horsepower. The Super 88 had a lighter body than Cadillacs or Buicks, a cutting-edge 4-speed hydromatic transmission, and gearing optimized for acceleration. The result? 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 9 seconds, enough to embarrass some two-door sport coups of the day. But what really gave the Super 88 its place in history was the Rocket name. In an era when America was obsessed with space, speed, and the atomic age, that name hit like thunder. It wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of forward motion. 1957 Ford Thunderbird E-Code. When Ford introduced the Thunderbird in 1955, they didn't call it a sports car. They called it a personal luxury car, a sleek two-seater for those who wanted style and a bit of a kick when they fled the gas. But by 1957, the Thunderbird had evolved, and with the E-Code version, it became a true gentleman's hot rod. The E-Code packed a 312 cubic inches in V8 with dual 4-barrel carburetors producing up to 270 horsepower, on par with many performance cars of the era. Despite its weight, thanks to smart gearing and plenty of torque, the Thunderbird E-Code could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 8.5 seconds. Blisteringly quick for a luxury cruiser. And here's the twist. Ford didn't build many. Out of over 21,000 Thunderbirds produced in 1957, only around 1,400 were E-Code models, and making them a true rarity in the collector world. The Thunderbird E-Code proved that in the 1950s car scene, luxury and performance didn't have to live in separate worlds. 1953 Cadillac Series 62 Coupe de Ville. While cars like the Corvette and Thunderbird were built for speed-hungry youth, the The Cadillac Series 62 Coupe de Ville was made for the gentlemen, those who demanded power, but with poise. In 1953, Cadillac fitted the Series 62 with a 331 cubic inch overhead valve V8, producing around 210 horsepower. An impressive figure for a luxury coupe weighing over 4,200 pounds. Thanks to the hydromatic transmission and refined chassis, it could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 10 seconds. Not far behind many so-called sports cars of the era, the Coupe de Ville didn't shout, "I'm fast." It whispered it with confidence. From leather seats and chrome accents to electric windows, and every detail reminded you this was a car for someone who knew what they wanted and didn't need to boast about it. The Cadillac Series 62 didn't break speed records, but it shattered the notion that luxury couldn't be powerful. And on this list, it represents a different kind of speed, refined, dignified, and undeniably American. 1958 Dodge D-500 Super D. While Chrysler was stealing headlines with its 300-letter series, Dodge, the less flashy sibling, quietly dropped a bombshell. And the D-500 Super. Based on a full-size sedan platform, the Super wasn't just a trim package. It was one of the fastest cars of 1958. Under the hood sat a 361 C8 with dual 4-barrel carburetors delivering up to 320 horsepower. A jaw-dropping figure for a 4-door family car at the time. But it wasn't just brute force. The Super came with upgraded suspension, larger brakes, and a performance rear axle, transforming it into a true sleeper sedan. Its top speed, around 130 miles per hour, 209 kilometers per hour, and enough to keep pace with many dedicated sports coups. The D-500 Super didn't flaunt its power like a Chrysler or Cadillac. Instead, it was the car of choice for the quiet thrill seekers, those who wanted to fly under the radar at 130 miles per hour. On this list, it stands tall as a symbol of stealthy speed and raw, unfiltered American engineering. 1956 Studebaker Golden Hawk. When you talk about the fastest cars of the 1950s, Studebaker rarely comes to mind. And a small automaker without massive budgets or a race team. But the 1956 Golden Hawk made the entire industry do a double take. Beneath its long hood was a surprise. A 352 cubic inches in V8, sourced from Packard, pumping out 275 horsepower in a body weighing just around 3,500 pounds. That made this sleek coupe a genuine performer. The Golden Hawk could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 7.8 seconds, quicker than many larger, more expensive rivals. But it wasn't just about numbers. It delivered a spirited driving experience, tight steering, throaty exhaust, and futuristic styling that turned heads. While it never achieved the fame of the Corvette or Chrysler C-300, the Golden Hawk proved you didn't need to be a giant to build something fast. 1957 DeSoto Adventurer. In the 1950s, DeSoto was often overshadowed by bigger names like Chrysler and Dodge. But in 1957, they launched a car that turned heads. The DeSoto Adventurer, a speed machine dressed in luxury. The Adventurer wasn't just a premium trim. It was a true high-performance model built in limited numbers each year. Under its hood was a 345 cubic inch Hemi 5.8 producing 345 horsepower. That's 1 horsepower per cubic inch, a rare feat for the time. Thanks to its strong chassis and 3-speed automatic transmission, the Adventurer could hit a top speed of around 130 miles per hour, 209 kilometers per hour, rivaling many track cars of the day. with tuned suspension, larger brakes, and gold-accented detailing throughout. It was equal parts power and elegance. The DeSoto Adventurer was a bold blend of performance, luxury, and exclusivity. But with DeSoto's demise in the early 1960s, this incredible car was soon forgotten. 1959, Pontiac Bonneville Tri-Power. Before the GTO became a legend, the Pontiac Bonneville Tri-Power was the brand's first secret weapon in the battle for speed. And in 1959, it reached its peak in both power and presence. The Bonneville was a full-size luxury coupe, but don't let its appearance fool you. With the optional Tri-Power package, it came equipped with a 389-inch V8 and 32-barrel carburetors producing up to 315 horsepower. It could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in just around 8 seconds. Impressive for a car tipping the scales over 4,000 pounds. Tri-Power wasn't just about numbers. It was about mechanical finesse and throttle control. The triple carb system activated in stages, cruising on one, then unleashing all three for full power, and delivering a sound and surge like a jet engine coming alive. The Pontiac Bonneville Tri-Power was a clear statement. Speed didn't belong only to nimble sports cars. It could live in a refined, full-sized coupe too, made for those who wanted to go fast without making a scene. 1955, Porsche 550 Spider. Among a list filled with American V8 muscle, the Porsche 550 Spider as a bold outlier. The smallest, but perhaps the most dangerous car of them all. Born in 1953 and perfected by 1955, the 550 Spider was powered by a 1.5-liter flat-4 engine, making just 110 horsepower, which sounds modest until you realize the entire car weighed only 1,200 pounds. Its incredible power-to-weight ratio let it sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds with a top speed of 140 miles per hour, outrunning many American cars with twice the horsepower. More importantly, it was built to dominate the track. Lows slung, perfectly balanced, and razor-sharp in handling. The 550 Spider is also forever linked to James Dean, who famously drove and died in one. That tragedy immortalized the car as a cultural icon, wrapped in allure and danger. It wasn't for the faint of heart, and it wasn't for everyone. From roaring American V8s to featherweight European marvels, the 1950s laid the foundation for everything we now know as car culture. These 12 machines weren't just fast, they embodied ambition, innovation, and freedom. We saw industry giants like Chrysler, Ford, and GM flex their muscles, but also saluted smaller players like Studebaker and DeSoto who dared to challenge the status quo in their own bold ways. Some of these cars became global legends. Others faded into obscurity, but all of them deserve to be remembered as part of the glorious story called speed. Now it's your turn. Which car impressed you the most? Was it the pioneering Corvette Fuelie or the fearless Porsche 550 Spider? Let us know in the comments below. And then if you want more deep dives into forgotten speed machines and golden era icons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because the next ride is coming fast.